I don't know yet because we might go to Michigan, and it just depends on how things unfold. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, but as soon as I know, you will know. Now, if I look at this, I look like I'm not looking the right way. It must be over here. It wasn't there. There's absolutely no one there anyway, so I hope this is working. Maybe we can. Check. Yeah, maybe we can just sign in and see if I did it right. Oh, I see. There's one thumb up. Oh, there's one person there.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so it's okay, I guess. Yeah, we'll just say it's okay. We have 2 minutes. Nice to see you. I thought you were busy tonight at your group. Your
It didn't happen.
Oh. I'm glad that you made the most of it by coming here. That's awesome. I knew it was going to be quiet because any rain, like no one ever sees rain. Yeah, they're just like, oh my God, better stay inside. It's all raining out. We're going to start in just 1 minute. Me too. We need it so badly. Everything's so dry here. So dry. It's supposed to rain tomorrow though, right? Didn't you say, babe? Yeah, that's good. We could use it every day until Saturday. No, it's Saturday. Now there's a lot of people there. Welcome, onliners. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for, running through the pouring rain to come here. I really appreciate it. It's like sprinkling very lightly here. But to us, that's a lot, okay? Because Denver's very dry. So dry, in fact, that we're in a major drought. They're saying, like, you're not allowed to water your lawn until, I don't know, the middle of May or something? Or
Like
late May? Come on. Yeah. My lawn is, like, long since... Our lawn is completely dead. So it's like the only thing that needs to be done is like the suckers that are coming from the cranberry tree. Cranapple? No. Crabapple, right. The cranapple. We have a cranapple tree. That's like more like a California thing. Cranapple. They're coming up in the yard. I gotta cut those down. Well, we made it. We're here together. How awesome. Another week of being able to spend time together. It's like miraculous. So allow a sense of gratitude and good fortune and joy and whatever to come up. It's been 2 weeks since I was here. Last week we had Ricky. Thank you, Ricky. And I was out of town in Michigan watching the bald eagles. So many bald eagles there. Pretty cool. What's up? Welcome. Thank you. So when we first sit down and meditate, we just want to let go, not do anything. Just let be. Let go of all that stuff that whatever brought us here. I've had kind of a stressful day myself, and I've been all cranky kind of. And feeling stressed about lots of different things, most of which don't have to do with me. Isn't that the worst, is when you have like people in your life who are like having problems, and it's causing you to feel stressed and worried about them. That's what it is to be, to have the bodhicitta, the bodhisattva attitude, but still it sucks. So I have to let go of that stuff. You probably have things you have to let go of. So let's do that. Just let be. Just let go. Like letting be, letting go. dropping. In Dzogchen, they say Rangbab, self-dropping. So we just let go. And that absence of kind of stressors that are not occurring right now, we could call that a kind of peace. So we can just sort of bask in that peace or allow that to arise in us. And from that state of openness and peace and presence, give rise to the thought, I am lucky to be part of this. I'm glad I was able to make it. I'm glad I can participate. I'm glad I even know about this. I even want to try. Allow those kind of considerations to arise. The attitude of gratitude. That's pretty much always a helper no matter what you're doing. And from inside that attitude of gratitude, think, I am going to practice meditation for the good of all beings, not just for myself. These two things, giving rise to a sense of joy, sense of gratitude, and thinking, I'm going to do this for the good of everybody, that's like the right kind of orientation toward practice. If we have that, we have everything. If you're a Buddhist practitioner and you're joining us, then you can take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha. If you're a Vajrayana person, it's Buddha Dharma Sangha and Guru. Give rise to bodhicitta in a more formal way if you want, but it's not necessary. What's necessary is to recognize we are so fortunate to have found this or any spiritual path, a path with heart, like Carlos Castaneda's teacher used to say, Don Juan. And then to think in the middle of that, I'm going to do this for all beings. That is the key thing. So again, give rise to that thought, not just for me, but for everyone, and then let go. If you've not been with us for a while, I might not have mentioned this, and it's very good to remind ourselves. Whenever we make an aspiration or a prayer or give rise to good wishes or give rise to the refuge or the bodhicitta in this case, thinking I'm going to meditate for the good of all beings, that's a thought, that's a notion. It's conceptualization, it's sem, right? It's not the mind nature, it's the expression of the mind nature. And it's a dualistic thought. And in order to allow that to be fully manifest, we have to then let go. It's exactly like shooting an arrow. You pull the arrow back, and then you let go to release the arrow. So in this case, we release the arrow of our intention to benefit all beings through experiencing our own nature. And if you're wise, my old friend Ron Martinez used to say, the inside move for blah, blah, blah. In this case, the inside move is to do this as often as you can. Whenever you do something like go to work, you're sitting in your car, you're about to go in, whether you're a teacher or you're a shelf arranger or you're a pilot, whatever your job is, you're a lawyer, whatever your job is. When you get ready to do your job, if you take 1 second and think, I am going to do this for the good of everybody, that changes your whole attitude toward that job. And it doesn't matter what the job is, it can be any job, right? It makes it more noble. It makes it more whole. It's a more complete view when we just think, I'm going to do this for the good of everybody, not just me, or not just me and my one client or whatever, right? If you're going to give a massage, if you think, I'm going to give this massage so all beings may be released from their physical and psychic problems and troubles, it makes it a lot more huge, and your effect is in accord with the cause. In this case, the cause is your thought for all beings. The effect is also for all beings. That's amazing. This type of meditation is less about focusing the mind and more about getting into the field of what is most essential to us. What is never changing in us. I've been not really reading, but sort of perusing. I read it before, but I'm kind of re-perusing it's kind of a half biography, half autobiography, because the biography was based on all these interviews that the guy did. But so it's kind of autobiographical in the sense that it's his own words in some places, but then he filled in gaps, the author of this reasonably well-known Indian spiritual teacher called Punjaji or Papaji. He died in not long ago, in 2000 sometime. And he was a disciple of Ramana Maharishi. So it's not Buddhism, but I think their message is identical, in my opinion. And I've been rereading that and thinking about how what I can gain from my own kind of sharing from this guy's whole life experience. He was an amazing teacher, by the way. And I read recently what I thought was an amazing story. He liked to go on pilgrimages. So he would go on these pilgrimages all by himself. Even though he's a well-known teacher, he would just pack up and go to the Himalayas. So he went up someplace, I can't remember exactly where he was, someplace in the middle of nowhere, northern India. This is in 60s, I think, in the late 60s. And he would meet he would have amazing experiences. He was quite a visionary and just a wild guy. But he ran into a guy who saw something in Punjaji that made him want to sort of disclose where he was. And they were way up in the mountains, way North India somewhere. And the guy was like, I have been practicing yoga for a long time. And I've gained some siddhis, like magical powers that you can get from these practices. He said, when I was young, I had a penchant for this. And so I went to Hardwar, I think, which is like a yogic place on the Ganges, and met some siddhas, these people who have these powers. And I convinced them to teach me. And I had some skills. So I learned these things. And he said, I can do all kinds of stuff. And Punjaji is kind of like, sure, I'd like to see. So the guy's like, well, how about this? And then what did he do first? I think he appeared in two places at once in the room. He like made two bodies of himself. And then he made four bodies of himself. And Punjaji was like, whoa, that guy's pretty serious. He's like, but he said, Punjaji's such a hilarious guy. He's like, I told him, one body's enough for me. It causes me plenty of trouble. Having more than one body is not that great. Oh, that was pretty funny. And I'm sure the guy also must have laughed, right? And then he also said, and what's going to happen to these other bodies when your body dies? They're all going to die. So what good is it really? And the guy's like, I can also levitate. And Punjaji said, I really want to see this because I hear that this is possible. You read in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras text that this is possible, and you hear these stories, but he said, I'd never seen it. And the guy did it right there. And, if you're familiar with spiritual writings or if you've met like advanced teachers, they're almost incapable of lying. So you just sort of, I never met Punjaji, but some friends of mine were students of his, and he has the same vibe. So it didn't seem like he was making this up. Anyway, the guy supposedly rose up off the ground, right? Whether he made Punjaji see this or he actually did it, who knows? This is an old-timey city, so I don't have any problem believing that somebody might be able to do it. Anyway, he rose up off the ground, and Punji had some other hilarious thing to say, and he's just kind of like, whatever. So they had their interaction. The guy really let him know. He's like, here's the thing. My guru, who taught me most of these things, he died a couple of years ago, and he told me before he died that the one thing he couldn't show me was my own essence, my own self. They call it in Hinduism, but for us, we'd call it like our own nature or whatever. And he said, I've been looking for someone who can show me this. And Punji didn't really say anything, just kind of sitting there, just kind of there having this conversation. And of course, Punjaji knew exactly what this guy wanted. And to have someone so advanced, a real yogi, right, who can perform these miracles. And the other thing he said, he had another cool city. He said, I got another city. I can make these goddesses bring me any type of food that I want. What is your favorite type of food? And Punjaji thought about it, and he said, there's this one dish. He didn't say what dish it was. That's from Varanasi, and I really like it. And the guy was like, no problem. And it appears directly in front of him. And they ate it, and he said it tasted as good as any one he'd ever had. So, I thought that was also pretty cool. What a convenient thing, Restaurant bills to the bottom. You're like, Italian. That'd be pretty cool. I'm a vegan right now. So it probably would also be vegan if you wanted, because it came out of nowhere. So how could it be real? You know what I mean? Like, awesome. Anyway, I thought that was a pretty cool little city. I never heard of such a thing. He could visit the various heavens and all this sort of stuff. Amazing. Like, he was some sort of accomplished master, whatever. So Punjaji is kind of observing him, and he notices that the guy's got this stick. He didn't describe it. It was some sort of stick, and that he's really taking care of, and it's right with him. Punjaji said, what's the story with that stick? And he said, my master said, as long as I have this stick, then I'll have these powers. And he said, this stick is what's holding you back. I can tell you, I can show you your own self, but you got to throw that stick in the river first. I mean, think about the kind of pressure that would be on you. When this is what you've got, right, are these magical powers. And in your own mind, you're convinced that the magical powers are associated with this stick, right? And the guy was like, okay. And he went and pitched it in this river, and it instantly disappeared, right? It's like they were up north of wherever the Ganges flows from. So it was some sort of rushing cataract in the Himalayas. It's gone. I'll tell you another story about Russian cataracts in the Himalayas later, in parentheses. I'd put that to the side, keep you interested. But anyway, the guy threw it in there, and he's like, I'm ready. And Punjaji said he gave him a certain look. He said, I never give anyone this look, but I gave him the look. And all of a sudden, the guy was like, oh, I got it. And he got whatever he got, right? And the teaching that led to him being able to give him this, he said, here's the thing. He said, you can produce multiple bodies. You can get this food out of nowhere or whatever. You can levitate. But all those things are temporary. They're not really you. They're temporary, right? They come, the food comes out of nowhere, you eat it, and it's gone. So it isn't really that valuable. If it's something that can come into your experience and then go out of your experience, it isn't really reliable. I thought that was a very interesting teaching and a really helpful thing when we think about what meditation is really about. Meditation is not about getting powers, obviously. That's extremely rare. And even if you did get them, like, there's the old story of the Buddha, right? Where the Buddha ran into some Siddha in ancient times, and the Siddha said, I can walk on water. And he's like, okay. You're like, prove it. And he's like, he books across to the other side. And meanwhile, the Buddha or one of his disciples or whatever has to take the ferry. And he pays his 5 cents and he goes across, and the guy's waiting. And he's like, what do you think about that? He's like, well, you saved 5 cents. What good is that? You know what I mean? It's kind of like a lot to get these powers. It's not about that. What it's about is really coming to understand what is not only most essential, but what is really that part of us that doesn't go away, doesn't come into being and go away. Can't be thoughts because thoughts come and go. It can't be experiences because experiences come and go. It has to be something, let's say, behind those or before those. And in real meditation, that's what we're training in. That's what we're discovering. It can't be something you have to get. Because anything you get, you might lose. Dan's got this super cool tea, what do you call it then? Tea mug, tea glass, something? Tea drinking, super fancy, excellent thing. Now, at some point, not that long ago, you didn't own that, right? And now you do. And it's glass, so it could get broken, it could get stolen, it could get left somewhere. Anything can happen to it, right? And then it will be not in your possession. So we have this kind of like, we got to protect it, but no matter how closely we protect it, it's never going to stay forever, right? Because it's something that came into our experience. Same thing with our meditation. We're not trying to discover something we don't have or get something that we don't have. Not some deep experience or some enlightenment or whatever. It has to be something that we get by taking away, by letting go. Letting go of those temporary things, those things that are not us. In other words, it has to already be in there. When we come to meditation, we want to get enlightened, right? Or get free or get peace or something. Any peace we could get would be peace that would then go away under different circumstances. Anything from causes and conditions has decay and loss inherent in it. They're the very final words of the Buddha, right? He's there on his deathbed. They're like, what's your last thing you got to tell us, man? After 50 years of teaching, they try to like sum it up. Give it to me quick. You're about to depart. He said, decay is inherent in all compounded things. Strive on with diligence. Or quiet determination, maybe. We were watching a YouTube video about hidden China, all these places in China I'd never seen before. Amazing. And it must have been written by AI. Lydia pointed out it must have been written by AI because everything required quiet determination. In every little section, they were always using that phrase. Anyway, we come to meditation. Looking for something, right? And that, because we're looking for it, we think it's out there, but it's actually not. That's why the whole spiritual path is 180 degrees. It's not some journey. The degrees are from going out, looking this way. And so when we come together, online, in person, we're kind of communing with this, of rediscovering this and training in it. Training in the sense of uncovering that again and again, that which is most close to our heart, that is our heart, so to speak. It can't be somewhere else. And it also can't be some when else. It has to be now, because now is all we got. Anything that can happen in time will also be taken away by time. That's just a fact, whether it's getting this black shirt or having an experience of going to Italy. To go to Italy, you have to now be in Italy, right? You have to go there, and then you're there, and then you leave. It can't be that. It has to be outside of time. It also has to be right now somehow. What is it that's right now? It can't be just right now when we're meditating either. It has to be right now all the time. It has to be right now when we were in kindergarten. It has to be right now when we were in aviation school. It has to be right now when we're 87. It has to be right now all the time. In order for this to become obvious to us or appreciable, we have to align ourselves with it, right? We have to align our body, we have to align our breathing, we have to align our mind. And what are we really aligning with? With that which doesn't change. Because if it changes, then it's subject to time, it's subject to causes and conditions, and it can't really be our essential nature. It just can't be. It's for that reason that we adopt a certain posture when we meditate, right? We want our nose over our navel. We want our ears over our shoulder, over our hips. We don't want to sit like this. We don't want to sit like this. Sometimes in the beginning, when you're not totally established in the practice, it's good to check it out. You sit in front of a mirror that needs to show your whole body, and you tape a piece of string with a weight of some kind, like a little plumb bob, in the middle of up here in the mirror, and then you align it and you just see. Is your nose over your navel? Sometimes we find we're sitting like this. We thought we were sitting straight, but we're sitting twisted because it feels comfortable because we did it for a long time. A lot of people, this is actually really comfortable for them because they spend a lot of time doing this, right? So it's good to sit that and check. Have someone look at your posture and just see. There's something very noble in sitting up straight. It's not straight like ramrod straight, like at attention, your chest out. It's just natural, you know? Where your North Pole and your South Pole are aligned, so to speak. Why do we do that? It has all kinds of reasons, right? Because the channels are straight, and when the channels are straight, then the energies flow smoothly. And when the energies flow smoothly, then the mind calms down. That's what's normally said. But the inner reason is because that posture, where it's balanced, it's not too hard, it's not too soft, it's not bent, it's not too straight, it's very natural. It's unchanging. It touches unchangingness. So then we mirror with our body that aspect of us which is also unchanging. That's why, not anything else. It doesn't matter what posture your legs are in, or even if you sit in a chair, whatever. It's like tuning radio in the car, right? Car in like 1982 or whatever. No, when I was a kid. Nowadays, they're like, what do you mean tuning? You tune that little thing and you get static, 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 and then clear. If you go a little further, it's staticky again. If you don't go far enough, it's staticky. But there's a place in there. In that place you can find also with the tuning of your body. Not too far forward, not too far back, not to each side, just, finding that spot. And when you find it, it feels comfortable. And it's without movement. It's nice. If you do it a lot, when you find that posture, it's almost like a click. You like click into that and you're there. And you can kind of let go of your body. In general, we're not used to sitting still, so it takes a little bit of time. The outer part of the body is the physical body. You want it to be like a mountain. Inner part or secret part of the body are the eyes. You got to have your eyes open. Why? Because it's about being awake to what we really are. So it's different than other types of meditation where you close your eyes. Right? Have our eyes open, not crazy open, like a lunatic. Speaking of lunatics, I was just in India, and we went to this place called Bakeshwar, which is like a holy place where they do burn bodies, and to visit this woman who has an ashram there. And she had a lot of people around her who were like serving her and kind of like working or helping the ashram something. One of them looked exactly like Charles Manson. I swear he was Charles Manson. He had some Charles Manson-y energy around him too, and he had that kind of look in his face. Nice guy for the most part, But he looked like Charles Manson. We don't want to be Charles Manson-y. This is not too good right here. At the same time, we don't be too chill and like, yo, man, that's awesome. That's like sleepy, right? Just normal. Natural, comfortable. So we can forget about our eyes. Key point of the eyes, don't look around. When we look around and get a new image on the retina and it's attached to the brain immediately has to reorganize that, figure out if it's safe, figure out if there's something really important in that field. So you just want our eyes to be naturally without movement. That's also hard, right? Easier to have the body still. A little more complicated, a little more difficult to have the eyes still. So you go slowly, right? Dial it in. And you can feel it. We're doing it now together. Because you're not making it. You don't make meditation. It's not you, the subject, some object you're focusing on, even if the object is emptiness or openness. It's not like that. And then the act of focusing, it's not like that. It's just letting go of everything else, everything that can be let go of. Why do we keep the eyes still? Why do we keep the breath calm? Why do we keep the body still? Because we can look deeply. It's easier to see deep when things are still. Case in point, on Sunday, I was in Michigan. Lydia's family lives way up in northern Michigan, just south of the UP. Beautiful place. And one Sunday, we had some time and we went to this place called the Christmas Cove. It's like a little cove. It's a good place to pick rocks. My first Zen teacher, Anne Klein, she taught me about picking rocks. She said she learned it from her Japanese teacher, which is like seeing which rocks want to go home with you, this kind of feeling, and which rocks are perfect and whatever, tuning in. Michigan, that part of Michigan anyway, is full of these gorgeous rocks everywhere. So we went to pick rocks at the beach. And we found it was a perfect day for picking rocks because most of the good rocks are in the water. And when the wind is blowing, which is like 99.999% of the time in Michigan, then the water is stirred up and you cannot see. You cannot see, right? It's not very deep. It's only this deep right where the rocks are. There's like all the rocks. And they had some weather, so the rocks were up. It was nice. And but you can't see if it's really windy. But it wasn't windy. It was perfectly still. Really amazing, actually. In the same way, when we still our body naturally, straight up and down, we align our body, we align our eyes with naturalness, stillness, we automatically see more deeply. It was a very auspicious day. It was the 10th day of the lunar month, which is Guru Rinpoche Day, the day that Guru Padma Baba, who brought the esoteric Dharma to Tibet in the 8th century, he said, every 10th day, if you call on me, I'm there. So that many people do Guru Rinpoche pujas on that day, practices. So we're there on the beach, and as soon as we got there, I heard this sound. I turned around, and there was a big pileated woodpecker, one of those huge woodpeckers, like making a racket. Those things are cool. The red head, really cool. So I got to see that. I was loving that. Then we were picking rocks. And then I heard another sound. And I thought, oh, because you never know what kind of birds you're going to see there. It's very good for birds. And I turned around. What did I see? But a freaking amazing sundog. Was like super cool. Like all the way around the sun. Totally excellent. I think they're called sundog. I also heard they're not called sundog. That's a slightly different thing. Anyway, it's really cool. There I am looking all holy with my miracle head. How about that? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, wow, it just seemed like such a magical day. Kind of a magic hour, It was just so cool. It really changed my attitude a little bit. I was suddenly like in a meditative state. We practiced a little meditation out there. Picked a couple rocks, pretty good ones. Sometimes when you're aligned, internally, when you align, external reality also aligns. It's because it's like a mirror, right? As above, so below, the old alchemical statement, really true. Inside mirror of the outside mirror of the inside. Today I had to do some errands. I had to go and get Momo wrappers from the Chinese grocery. And I also had to I went to Costco to see if they had something, which they didn't have. I had to do a few errands. And I can't remember. Someone pulled out and almost hit me, and it was kind of weird, and I was like, uh-oh. And I sort of tuned into that energy, and I realized kind of a funny energy around today. It's a good day to be careful. And I had this experience all day. It was just one thing after the next. And I realized it was me. I was grumpy and feeling worried about some people who were having some troubles and just like feeling some stuff. And it was manifesting as the outer stuff too. It's very interesting, And sometimes when you're all happy, everything's going well, it seems like everybody else is also happy, right? On Sunday it was nice. Today it was difficult. That's how it is. We realize that there's the separation between outside and inside, not so distinct. That's why it's so powerful to think, I'm going to practice what is most essential. Practice being at peace with my inmost nature. however you describe it to yourself, not just for myself, but for everybody. That's why that's so powerful. Because there's a link. Not just a link, they're actually one thing, what they appear as two. Because we're dualistic. But our inmost nature is not dualistic. That's why the more you let go, the more you settle, the less distinction there is between you and everything else. In fact, like the ultimate mystical experience is realizing, having this insight. It's a temporary thing, so it's not ultimate, but it's very nice when it happens, that you are somehow the same as everything. Everything and you are really one. This kind of experience. Everybody touts that as the mystical experience, right? The dissolving of the boundary between self and other. We shouldn't chase these experiences because they're experiences, right? They come in and they go out, so they can't be the ultimate. The ultimate has to always be there. It's important to make that distinction. At the same time, to notice this is very powerful and profound. I don't know about you, but all my stuff I brought to the meditation, which was kind of shaken up, worried, that seems to have gone. That was stuff that came into my experience, and it now has gone out. It can't be really me. When we are practicing meditation, and we're on the meditative path, like all the people here, there's only really two things, two aspects, I don't know how to describe it, two parts to the path. There's removing obstacles and enhancing. In Tibetan, they call it Geksel and Bokdun. Gek is like an obstacle, problem. Sel is to dispel that. Geksel is removing obstacles. Bokdun means to enhance the experience of clarity, enhance the experience of non-thought, enhance the experience of blissful emptiness. All those are qualities of this inmost nature. One very powerful technique for both Geksel, removing obstacles, and enhancement, Bokdun, is the clearing of the breath. Because everything in meditation rides on the breath. Seems so simple, seems so easy, but it's so powerful. I'll tell you a story about how powerful it is. One great master, whose name I can't remember because it wasn't Khyentse Wangpo. I can't remember who it was. One of these 19th century Tibetan super masters. He was talking to one of his disciples who was not well, and he was old already, and he was talking to one of his disciples, and he said, it's so important to clear out the stale breath. And the disciples like, yeah, because they always say like, yeah, I understand, Rinpoche, I understand, Master, got it, yeah. And he said, it's just really good to do. And he said, okay, I got it. Because you do it like this, and he showed, just like we do, and we'll do in a second. And when he did it, and he breathed out, he died. He just let go totally, and he was dead. Whoa, pretty intense. Pretty cool to have that be your last act. That'd make a pretty deep impression on your disciple too. Like, whoa, that really is important. Let's do it together. If you know how to do it, cool. If you don't know how to do it, you're about to know. This is really good to do first thing in the morning. It's also good to do a few times in the day, and always good to do before you practice. It balances your energies. It clears out stale wind and also thoughts that ride on that stale wind. Hands are like this. Put your thumbs at the base of your ring finger. Close your hands. Not tight, just a little. Hands on your knees with your arms straight. Right arm goes out. Block off your right nostril, breathe in. Hold your breath, put your hand down, left arm goes out, block off the left, out. In. Hold your breath, hand down, right arm goes back out, block off the right, out. Breathe in. Out and extend your fingers. Very good. Remember, at the end, you extend your fingers like this, but your hands are still on your knees. If I do it, you can't see. That's why I show it like this. And when you do that, don't do anything. Let go. Don't try to meditate. Don't try to ask yourself, is this good? Don't try to think great thoughts or something. Just let go. When we went to Michigan, and when we came back, there were some packages delivered. And the next day, we opened all the packages. We got back like 2 o'clock in the morning. What you do for cheap flights, right? And there were this big pile of boxes, all these boxes from Amazon and whatever, by the garage door. I had to take them outside to put them in the recycling. And they were all there, and they were just kind of cluttering up that area. And I was like, so I had to cut all the boxes and fold them all up and get them ready to put in the thing, whatever. And it felt so good to get all that stuff out of there. And what was left after I got rid of those boxes? Space. Room, right? I didn't make the room by getting rid of the boxes. Room's already there. In the same way, when we breathe out, it's like all the mental boxes are just removed. They just go out. They go out, and there is only room, just space. You're not making the space. It was already there. You're just removing the obstacles to noticing that space. In the same way that in the kitchen, I had all the boxes were piled up there. They're not natural to the kitchen. No, it's not a pigsty in there usually. Removing them restored how it was naturally. In the same way, when you do this exercise, even though it looks so simple, you are restoring not only balance and all this stuff, that's all like up here, but the deeper meaning is you're restoring yourself to the natural state of open spaciousness. And that natural state is very close to the heart of you. When we say heart, in Dzogchen, the heart is like the seat of our essential nature. It's not the physical heart, it's like the chakra heart, right? It's not that the essential nature lives there like a little person, it's not like that. What is the actual nature? Openness, spaciousness, wholeness, completeness. Dzogchen itself means completeness, the great wholeness, the single sphere, the wholeness, complete, totality. That's so hard to recognize when we have all the boxes of our problems and all of everybody else's problems, and all our hopes and our fears and our worries and our things and our accomplishments and all of our stuff in there. That's not essential to us, right? Because your accomplishments today were not your accomplishments 3 years ago. And your fears that you have now were not your fears when you were 6 years old. They were just extra boxes that came. That's why these exercises are so important and powerful. Don't skip on them, even though they're so easy. When you get very good, You can still recognize the space, the room, even if it's filled with boxes. But that is for later. That is for later. For now, sweep those boxes out and enjoy that room that is created. Not really created, it's revealed. I think you're digging it right now. You'll know that you've become a real practitioner at the time that you dig that spaciousness more than you dig the boxes that you can get. Because inherent in those boxes of happinesses made by circumstances or hopes that you wish you will fulfill or whatever is the loss of them. And so inside of that box is always like a little bit of poop, and so it's not so nice. And you kind of change your allegiance a little bit and you realize there's something behind that. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy getting boxes, right? Some boxes are very nice. But you don't hold them as tightly. And the lighter we hold, the more peace we have. This exercise is so simple, but the key point is at the end, don't do anything. Don't, like they say in Zen, don't put another head on top of your head. Let it be open. Let's try it again, right? Good. When you first start doing this, it's you recognizing the space, enjoying the space, being free in the space, feeling the peace. As you get quote unquote better at it, which is really actually more courageous, more willing to let go, which is kind of scary. As you get better at that, you realize that your you is actually a box in the space too. And that's quite an amazing discovery. It's not that you are the one with the space. It's that you, your idea of yourself, is actually one more box that's kind of crowding you. Don't like to be crowded, right? Kind of not nice. Think of Little Big Man. You know Little Big Man? Dustin Hoffman? Oh, you gotta see that. That's a great movie. You know it. You know it, I know you know it. You seen that? Oh my God. Your homework. Watch this old 70s movie. I think it's Dustin Hoffman's greatest movie. It's called Little Big Man. It's like supposedly the story of this guy's life. I think his name's Jack Crabb. And he tells the story of his life from when he's like kind of abducted by Indians and then raised by them. Then he returns to being a honky, and then he goes back to the Indians. And this whole life. It's an incredible story. And beautiful. It's a book too. And one point, he has all these phases, and Dustin Hoffman's so good in that. He has these different phases, right? That was the end of my religion, period. He says, when he finds the woman who he's living with, he's living as the child, like adopted child of this preacher and his wife. And his wife, he finds out, is having an affair, and he's like, that was the end of my religion period. Very funny. Anyway, from his religion period, he becomes a gunfighter. Okay, and he's in this saloon. He's in the saloon, and he's having a drink of sarsaparilla or something like that, non-alcoholic thing, kind of funny. And there's this guy right next to him, and he turns to me and he said, "You're crabbing me." And when the guy sees him, he goes, "Sorry, I'm really sorry." And then he backs up and kind of almost falls down. Remember that part? Nobody likes to be crowded, right? Not Dustin Hoffman, not us either. So liberate yourself from your crowding of your mind, because it's really your mind that's the issue. It's your mind. And when I say mind here, for you Dzogchen people, sem, your dualistic mind. It's filled with thoughts and ideas and plans and all this pressure of all these things. And it's all temporary. It's all not you. Right? Just like all those boxes in the kitchen are not part of the kitchen, right? They're just temporary. They're there and they're kind of crowding it up. Just like Jack Crab was getting crowded by that guy in the saloon next to the bar. You have to have some courage because we're really attached to some of those boxes. All right? Some of us are attached to our job. I think of Frank Azar. You know Frank Azar? Right? Everybody knows Frank Azar, right? In Denver. You know Frank Azar? He's got all those posters everywhere. He's like a famous lawyer. I don't know if he's a good lawyer. I have no idea. But my God, if I know him, he must be famous. Right? I saw one today. That's what made me think of it. And it said, it's a big picture of big old Frank Azar, and it says, "No win, no pay." I thought, wow, that's pretty good advertising, you know? Like, go for it, sue him. If I don't win, you won't have to pay. I'm sure Frank Azar, I don't know him. Maybe he's an amazing bodhisattva. He probably is. But I'm sure he's thinks of himself as a lawyer, right? He's like probably the most important or famous whatever lawyer in Denver in terms of the average person knows him. Since I just made that joke and everybody here laughed, they all know Frank Azar. So he's a good advertiser at least. I'm sure we just use him as an example. And Frank, if you're listening, I'd love to have you here sometime. Wednesday nights, Clear Light Yoga. If you come, I guarantee you a good seat. I guarantee you, that would be amazing. Hilarious too. It's probably home meditating and being like, "It's okay, my child." No idea.
Oh, then it's no enlightenment, no pay.
No enlightenment, no pay. It's the same here. It's the same here, brother. Anyway, I would think that Frank Azar would have a sense of himself as a lawyer as one of the pieces of furniture in his mind space, right? We all have these. It takes an enormous amount of trust, which in the Dharma we call faith, and courage, that combination of those two things, which are really the same thing, two aspects of one thing, like my hand back and front, to allow even those boxes to be removed, however temporarily. And that's important to know, because as you go on the path more, there's more, this fear can come up. This fear can come up because we start to deal with things that we really hold on to. Some of the things are good things, like I'm sure Frank Azar is quite proud of his practice. I would be. And some of the things are not good things, like that thing that happened to us when we were 15, and it really changed the course of our life in the negative, and I still hate all the people involved in that, or whatever. Right? So we have to, both of those types of things can really define us. But if you want to know if it's absolutely part of you or not, just think back. Was it there when I was 2? Was it there when I was first born? And the fact is it wasn't. So it can't really be part of you. And as such, it is a box that eventually will go. The more willing we are for those things to go, the better practitioners we are. takes a certain amount of bravery to be on the path. Good thing you're all very brave and courageous. That's excellent. As I said, in the Dzogchen sort of subtle physiology, the heart is the base, is like the place where our awareness arises from. It's where it's sort of centered in our body. And when we were in Michigan, we saw some of Lydia's family, and one of her nephews loves this movie that they made of The Little Prince. Kids probably read The Little Prince. I just realized, second most translated book in all books after the Bible. Just heard that yesterday. Wikipedia. Still coming through Wikipedia, thank you. I think mostly it's ChatGPT, but Wikipedia also pretty cool. 600 languages. Kind of incredible, right? I read Little Prince when I was young, and I thought it was a super cool book. So we watched this movie. And it's kind of a combination of the story of the Little Prince and then this other side story. I think it's worth watching. I thought it was very beautifully done. It's animated. If you like The Little Prince, probably worth checking out. It inspired me to reread The Little Prince, which I'm doing, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, if you know The Little Prince, he goes to different planets, and he's telling Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who crashes in the desert, and he sees the Little Prince. You got that part. Anyway, he's telling him about his adventures, and he goes to these different planets that are run by different types of beings. And on one of the planets, he meets a fox. And I think maybe on Earth, actually. And the fox in the movie, the fox says, "I will make you a present of a secret." I thought it was a very cool thing to say. He said, "You can only really see with your heart." Very beautiful. It kind of struck me. And I thought, this is so similar to what we're doing. Normally we live up here, in our heads, in our eyes. And part of the path is to allow ourselves to have enough courage to sink down and to really start to see with our hearts. Whether you frame that as the Dzogchen way, that's where the true nature abides, or you frame it in a more romantic way, like the fox was talking about. Different way of seeing. It's his way of seeing with bodhicitta, right? And that's what we're really called to do as humans, called to do as practitioners on any kind of spiritual path, is to see with our hearts. Tell you the truth, I got a little choked up when the fox said that. I thought, wow, that got me a little bit. I will make you a present of a secret. Cool. And like many good secrets, it's already in plain sight. We already know this somehow. But we get so caught up with all of our boxes. And we get so attached to our boxes, whether it's I'm a lawyer, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a yogin, whatever. But we don't want to let that one go. We'll let the other ones go, right? But not that, because we earned it. But even that also has to go, because decay is inherent in all compounded things. So when we meditate, we can do it from our hearts. We have to be soft, right? As we soften, then we sink down from our analytical brains and our sorting brains of like, dislike, and don't care. Our plan, I'm going to get enlightened because it's going to be better. And he says it's good to say it for all beings, but that means it'll probably be better for me if I plan it that way. All this kind of stuff. We have to relax, and as we relax, we sink down. You don't have to try to sink down, it just naturally happens. It's a little scary. Takes a little courage. You have to have faith. Kind of exposing ourselves when we do that. And to be vulnerable is dangerous. So softly, softly, and just short periods, just a little bit, without any artifice, without any pretending. You can do this. You guys know you can do it. But you online, I don't know you. You can do this. It's already in you. So how would you not do it? Right? These classes. Okay. The person online asked, how does Soto Zen style of practice, which is called Shikantaza, compare with this? At the ultimate level, it's exactly the same. But in Zen, they never give you anything. Especially in Soto, they don't give you any tips. They just don't give you anything. So it's all in the posture. Dogen was all about posture, right? Dogen, founder of Soto in Japan. But interestingly, Dogen got enlightened through the practice of koans. Very interesting, in China. Anyway, Shikantaza, exactly the same. Just sitting, just being 100% present. It's even, a lot of times Shikantaza is aimed at the breath. This is not aimed at the breath. This is not aimed at anything. So this is like Shikantaza without any supports, so to speak. Not even the breath. It's not about just breathing or whatever. It's about letting go totally. And in that case, then this style and Shikantaza, the same. The difference here is that in both schools of Zen, in Japan, Zen, right, Chan in China is more complex, more rich in some ways. In Japan, it's Soto or Rinzai. And there's some hybrids, but primarily those two. Rinzai primary method is koans, like who am I? What is the sound of one hand clapping? Whatever your koan is, focusing on this and trying to have a breakthrough Kensho enlightenment Satori experience. In the Shikantaza, they don't do that. They just teach you only sitting. Actually, it's like this: only sitting, 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 not doing anything. And the problem with that, I say problem, is that you have no idea what you're doing. And so you can do it for years and years and have no idea. And it's very easy for that to drift into shamatha. Not even drift into it, it is shamatha. In Dzogchen style, they point this out right in the beginning, the nature. And then you train in that. So it's a little different orientation, but the final outcome, exactly the same, as far as I'm concerned. Good question. Okay. We're going to finish. If there are any other questions, you can shout them out right now. This has been a good session. I feel like we communed with our own nature, which is, of course, the same for everyone in a sense. And we also got to be right here, seeing with the eyes of our hearts. If you haven't seen Little Big Man, it's time. If you haven't read The Little Prince, it's freaking time for that too. Actually, a very beautiful book. Kind of funny though, there are different views because in another great movie, My Dinner with Andre, they talk about The Little Prince. And in that, Andre Gregory says, "These days, I think there's something fascistic about The Little Prince. I could just imagine an Aryan Nazi guy loving The Little Prince." Oh, very funny. Personally, I like The Little Prince, so you can check it out. You can see what you think. Reading The Little Prince and watching Little Big Man, both with Little. Very interesting. You're going to love the movie. It's great. There's some great lines in there, too. It is a good day to die. Very cool. Very good movie. Wow. Every day we have to have that attitude, by the way. You go down into that valley, there'll be nothing left of you but a greasy spot. That's what he says. Someone quoted part of that line. Super good. You go down there if you got the nerve. That's how he's, God, that's a good movie. I love that movie. We wouldn't have to watch that movie. I'm inspiring myself. Okay. So we're going to sit here a bit and then we're going to dedicate the merit. The prayer is probably in the chat. If it's not in the chat, then just think whatever goodness has been created here, may all be sharing. May they all see with the eyes of their hearts. May they all become a little softer. We could seriously use that these days. And thanks for coming. So let be. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemy wrongdoing, from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara may I free all beings. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being online. See you next week. And that was pretty good. That was fun. Take care, everyone. Be well, and don't give up.